Okay, guys, today we're starting lesson 5.1, and this is on writing equations in slope-intercept form. What we're going to do is go back and review slope-intercept form. How is it set up? What's it need to look like? This is slope-intercept form is a backbone of a lot of what we're going to do this year. We have to be able to write equations correctly and interpret information from slope-intercept form. So it's something that we really have to be polished on, and we got to practice. So this lesson today, 5.1, you've seen a lot of this, but we're going to go through it again, and we're going to kind of go through it and be sure that we're efficient with it. Okay. The first thing is let's talk about finding the slope if we're given 2 points. Okay. We've done this, but I want to review it. Remember, the way we find slope is the difference in the y's. The y's got to go on top over the difference in the x's. It's rise over run, right? So when I go up here, I mean, I know it's y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, but what does that mean? Well, this is just, if I was to call this one the first order pair, then this would be x sub 1, and this would be the y sub 1. So this is the x from the first order pair, the y from the first order pair. This would then be the other order pair, number 2, right? So this would be the x from the second order pair, the y from the second order pair. And all that does is assign our numbers specifics as to where they go. So if I follow this, it would be y sub 2 negative 9 minus y sub 1 negative 3 over x sub 2 8 minus x sub 1 negative 4. So that loads it in there correctly. And now I got to be able to simplify this. So minus a negative in both cases here become plus a positive. So it becomes negative 9 plus 3 over 8 plus 4. So that's negative 6 over 12. And that's negative 1 half. Okay. Now, just for argument's sake, let's say we do the same problem, but we flip these. Now I'm going to call this one the first order pair. So this is the x from the first order pair, the y from the first order pair, x from the second order pair, y from the second order pair. Okay. Now let's go ahead and load it in that way. So now it would become y2 negative 3 minus y1 negative 9 over x2 negative 4 minus x1 8. Okay. And if I simplify it, it becomes negative 3 plus 9 over negative 4 plus negative 8. I get 6 over negative 12, and a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So the point here is it doesn't matter which order pair you want to call 1 and which one order pair you call 2. You just load it in correctly, and you're getting the same answer no matter how you go about it. Okay? So let's talk about the slope of a line going through these 2 points. I usually just go this way. I go 6 minus 2 over 9 minus negative 7. 6 minus 2 is 4. This really becomes plus a positive 7. It's 4 over 16. And this is a little reminder. These always have to be in simplest form. So you're not going to write 4/16 and get full credit. You got to reduce the fraction to 1 to 4. Rise of 1, run of 4. There's your slope. Okay. Now, slope-intercept form. Okay, we've done this already, but we're going to review it. So we're going to talk about slope-intercept form for a line that has a y-intercept of negative 7 and it's at a slope of negative 2/3. All right, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. It's called slope-intercept form because when it's written like this, m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. That's why it's called this. So if I need to know two things, they would be slope and y-intercept. So if I'm going to write the equation like this, I got to know these two things. And in this case, they tell us both of them. So it's as simple as plugging it in. So in place of m, I'm putting negative 2/3. In place of b, I'm putting negative 7, excuse me. Okay. And by the way, instead of writing plus negative 7, we write minus 7. All right. So this would be your answer. A line that has a slope of negative 2/3 and a y-intercept of negative 7 will be written like this in slope-intercept form. Pretty straightforward stuff. Okay. This one says write the equation in slope-intercept form for a line that goes through the point 4, 1 and it's got a slope of 5/4. Okay. Well, slope-intercept form again looks like this. I need to know two things: the slope, 5/4. They gave it to me, and I need to know the y-intercept, which they did not give to me. Okay. So the way right now we're going to go about getting b is to take my slope and the point it goes through. Okay. The point it goes through represents an xy value that makes the equation true when it's written. So I got an x and a y that make it true, and I got the slope that I'm asked to have. So what we do is we substitute all this in. Slope is now 5/4. for m, x is 4, y is 1. And now if I solve this, multiply 5 fourths by 4, subtract 5 from both sides, I got b to be negative 4. So I now know the y-intercept is negative 4b. So now I have what I need to write the equation. I substitute it in. There's my final answer. Y equals 5 fourths x minus 4. Okay. What if they give us a graph and ask us to write it in slope-intercept form? Okay. Well, this is essentially giving us 2 points and saying write it in slope-intercept form. It's really the same as the last problem, but now they do it graphically. So again, what do we need to know to be able to write the equation in slope-intercept form? I got to know the slope. I got to know the y-intercept. Do we know the slope yet? No, not really. We're going to find it pretty quick, but we don't. It's not given to us. Do we know the y-intercept? Well, actually, we do. So here's where you got to look carefully. See how they put the point right on the y-axis, and it's right at negative 4? That means the y-intercept is negative 4. Okay. So I know the y-intercept. Now I got to figure out slope. How do we find slope? Well, it's rise over run, right? It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But in this case, if they give me this, let's use this. I got a rise of 3 and a run of negative 5. Okay. So up 3 to the left 5, my slope is 3 over negative 5, which we would just write as negative 3/5. Pretty easy. I'd do it that way. Now I know my slope is negative 3/5. I know my y-intercept is negative 4. Y equals negative 3/5 x minus 4 by plugging those into the m and the b respectively. There's my equation written in slope-intercept form. It's got a slope of negative 3/5. It's got a y-intercept at negative 4. Okay, pretty straightforward there. All right, now write an equation for this line. Well, guess what? They look at the points first. We need to know 2 things to write an equation in slope-intercept form. I got to know the slope, which I do not know. It's not given to me. I'll find it relatively easily, but it's not given right now. And I got to find the y-intercept, which if I look closely, it gives it to me, right? We got a y-intercept at negative 1. So I got half of what I need, the y-intercept. Now I got to find slope, right? Well, I do it the same way. Rise over run. So I go up 4. I go to the right 6. So up is positive, to the right is positive. So this is 4, 6, which reduce. Oh, we got to reduce, guys. Reduce to 2/3. Now I know my slope is 2/3. I know my y-intercept is negative 1. Those are the 2 things I need. Plug them in. Y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Done. This equation represents this line. Okay. All right. Now let's look at one more. I think that's one more. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for this line. Okay. Now as I look up here, again, we need to know 2 things, right? Slope and y-intercept. As I look up here, they don't give me the y-intercept clearly defined. I can see it's passing somewhere between negative 1 and negative 2, but I don't know what that is exactly, and we're not going to guess. Okay, they don't really give me the slope either, right? They don't give me the slope. I can find it easy enough. So they don't give me either one of these. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is find the slope. Okay, rise of 9, run of negative 6, right? Up is positive, to the left is negative. So I'm going to get 9 over negative 6, which reduces to negative 3 over 2. All right, so I know the slope now. Well, to find the y-intercept, I know the slope, and I know 2 points it passes through for sure, right? I can pick either one of these 2 points. I'm going to pick the negative 3, 3 point, this one right here. And if I have a point it passes through and the slope, okay, I have enough to figure out B because I got an XY and an M. So plug them in, right? I'm going to get 3 equals. Now, if I do negative 3 halves times negative 3, I get 9 halves, which is 4.5. Okay. Subtract 4.5. B is negative 1.5. So I'm saying the y-intercept occurs at negative 1.5. Does that look about right? Yeah, negative 1.5. That's about right. Okay. So now I know both of these 2. I know M is negative 3 halves, and I know B is negative 1.5. So write the equation. Y equals negative 3 halves x minus 1.5. Okay. We got to get used to doing all this stuff. Okay. Because it's going to be part of what you need to do from now on. Same kind of question. Okay, again, Uh, we need the slope. We need the y-intercept. We don't know the slope. We don't know the y-intercept. They did not give us this point. We can see it's a little bit more than 4. It's somewhere in here, but we're not guessing. Okay, so let's just go through process here. How do you find the slope? Well, rise over run, a rise of 4, a run of 10. So that's 4 over 10, which is 2/5. So now I know the slope. How do we find the y-intercept? Well, if I know the slope and a point the line goes through, I have my choice here. I chose 4, 6 as my point. I have enough information now to find B, because if I look at slope intercept, I got the M, I got an X, I got a B. Plug it in, solve for B, and this is 4.4. So it's not 4.5, which you might have guessed. It's actually 4.4. Okay, so now I know M, 2/5. I know B, 4.4. Write my equation, y equals mx plus b. Done. Okay. All right, it's time for homework. And the homework tonight is on Alex. Okay. It's using the information given to be able to write it in slope intercept form. And like I said, we have got to get good at this. This has got to be something that we can handle no matter what information we're given. Okay. All right, I'll let you get at it.